Welcome to the Franchise Woman Podcast, where passion and purpose collide, profits are made, and relationships forged. I'm Rebecca Monet, CEO and Chief Scientist at Zorkel Profiles, along with my co-host, community advocate, speaker, author, and entrepreneur, Tracy Kawa. Tracy, we have a very special guest today. Already had some pre-interview questions for her, and she's going to be fabulous. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Lynsay Flynt went from a D1 athlete to marketing director of over 190 U.S. workout anytime gyms. After hanging up her cleats at the University of Georgia and leaving the dirt of the D1 softball diamond behind, Lynsay leapt straight into the health and fitness industry, joining a startup focused on diabetic clients. Then she managed a gym for 2 years before realizing she could combine her athletic experience with her journalism degree and pivot into a career that inspires healthier habits on a larger scale. Now she spearheads marketing for 190 locations. So I want to learn everything that she's up to. Lynsay, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome, welcome. So, Lynsay, I understand that you and your sisters are the product of very wise parents who knew that giving you a background in sports would help shape your leadership in the future. So, can you take us back and explain a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I grew up as a middle child, so I am one of three girls, and a lot of us growing up was playing sports. My parents did that on purpose, at least they stated now, as we got older. Of course, I loved it. I played any sport you could possibly think of to the point where they actually had to ask me to pick one, because they could not afford nor drive me around to all the practices. Um, so I picked softball and I played since I was five and then ended up playing as a D1 athlete. But it shaped a lot of who I am today, both personally and professionally. And I'm very grateful to my parents for allowing me to experience that. It showed me what teamwork really means,
Mm.
helping people with their strengths and weaknesses, because every player on the team brings something different to the plate. And no pun intended. And it's important for us to pick each other up when things don't go well and you win as a team and you lose as a team and you learn discipline and resilience and how to perform well under pressure and how to, you know, really take care of your emotions when you're stressed or upset. And so it just taught me a lot of skills throughout those 20 years that I played that I brought into my career.
I think so important. That's why I encourage kids, grandkids, now great grandkids to get into team sports. Now, you were very humble because you didn't just play softball, you were team captain. So,
Oh,
as team captain, you had additional responsibilities. Can you address how that played out as a captain, as a player?
Yeah, absolutely. So I held a couple captain roles in high school and on travel teams growing up. And, it's really an honor. There's so many phenomenal people on a team. And so when you get asked to be a captain, I really take that to heart. And I believe that leadership is a team sport. And I've taken that from when I was actually a captain into my role as I sit today as director of marketing. So it's just, I think there's a lot that goes into it. You have to be empathetic towards other people. You have to understand that other people don't necessarily receive constructive criticism the same way that you do. And there's different ways that you need to speak to people. But at the end of the day, I am just a big cheerleader. I want everyone to win, and anything that I can do to support them. Even when I was a captain, they needed to stay late and take extra ground balls. They needed help running extra laps for conditioning. I do the same thing with my team today. Whatever assistance they need and support, I'm always there. And I always try to be a big team player and support them however they need.
I think you raised so many good points about different players having different strengths and weaknesses, and about how each person takes constructive criticism differently. So many good points. I'm sitting here picturing you with your ponytail and your baseball cap. I love it. So tell us how you got into franchising to begin with.
Sure. I have known what I wanted to do since I was about 15. I have a very, I guess, rare story. You know, growing up, it's very hard to decide what you want to do. It's a very hard decision to sit down at the age of 16 or 17 and say, hey, I want to do this for the rest of my life. And I am kind of an oddball in the fact that I already knew. So I did everything that I needed to do early on to get where I wanted to go. And I did internships and all kinds of things growing up. But right when I graduated, I started working for a startup company, which taught me so much about business, both marketing, operationally. Um, and I'm very grateful that I got to experience that. A startup company is very different than one that's already matured. And so I got to learn a lot, work very closely. I was able to build out the entire brand from the logo to the brand identity. So I learned a lot in that role, and it was with a very specific clientele of diabetic and renal diabetic patients is what her primary goal was. So we helped them both nutritionally as well as fitness and health. And
Yeah.
then from there, I took a step back, which at the time I didn't realize was actually a very much step forward. And a part of my path is I went and was running a local gym um, during the time that someone that I was with was finishing up school. So it was just supposed to be temporary. That temporary job turned into me being a manager, a regional manager, which then led to me being the director of marketing for a multi-unit owner of Anytime Fitnesses. We owned 17 locations across 3 states. And then from there, I was recruited by Workout Anytime to come on board. And I've been with them for about 4 years now. So my entire career has been in health and fitness for about 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I like that you said something about you knew at 15 or 16 what you were going to do in the future. That's very rare, as you
Mhm.
pointed out. Because I was going to ask you how you gave up when you hung up your cleats. You're giving up a certain identity to move into a business role. It sounds like that was pretty easy for you because you already knew kind of the next step. Did you not have an identity crisis? Because a lot of athletes do when they go straight into business.
I did as well. I will not, fib in that aspect. It's very hard because you do identify yourself with the sport for a very long time, and it's a huge part of your life. It was basically a job where you network, you meet all your friends, you're disciplined, and you work out at 5 a.m. and lift weights and you practice, and it basically is a job. And you one day you just don't have it anymore. And that's a very difficult um, thing to process, both mentally, physically, a lot of things. Your workouts aren't the same. So you have to adjust your diet, make sure you're staying active, but then mentally, you don't get to see all those people
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah. So it's definitely difficult. I did have a hard time at first, but I transitioned into really being passionate about my career and where I wanted to go, and sitting down and being like, where do I want to be in 5 years? Where do I see myself? What's my ultimate goal? And so I really kind of pivoted everything I learned and the passion that I had for playing into my career.
I think it's just precious that at 5, you knew you wanted to play softball above the other sports. At 15, you knew that you wanted to go into marketing.
Yes.
So, what advice would you give to young people today who maybe at 20 still don't know what direction they want to go in?
I think for me specifically, and I'm sure when I talk, I am very passionate about it. It makes me very happy um, to do marketing to help people specifically in health and fitness because I'm changing lives every day, and that is very important to me. And I
Mhm.
think it doesn't matter what age you are. I might start over in 10 years. Who knows? But I think it's important to do what makes you happy, what you're passionate about, what lights your fire, because, if you do what you love, then you're going to love all areas of your life. And so that's my biggest advice. Just love what you do every single day and be passionate about it, and your light will shine through that.
I
Beautiful.
think that's great advice because, when we talk about my passion is, so many of us think it's a single thing, whatever that is, sports, music, whatever it is. But we have passion for many things, and I think it should be developed. Let me ask you a question, Lynsay. Do you consider yourself competitive?
Yes.
Yeah.
My entire family is competitive. So yes, the short answer would be absolutely. Um, I think it's just in my nature. I think it's just a part of growing up playing sports, and then I grew up with siblings, so we were always competing against each other. Um, we still kind of do to this day, especially my little sister and I. But but I think now it's not more like competitiveness against other people. It's competitiveness against myself and who I
Yeah.
was
Mm.
yesterday, and I want to be better than I was yesterday. So I think over the years I've learned it's not about what everyone else is doing. I'm not trying to keep up with anyone else or beat anyone else. I'm trying to beat the woman I was yesterday.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's interesting because there's a humility about you. And that's not easy when you have a competitive spirit because you're kind of holding yourself back. But you've shifted from competition on the field to competition with self. I would argue that it's also showing up in your work because you have ideas that give your company a competitive advantage. You're always kind of pushing the boundaries and going out. So it may show up a little more subtle, or you're competing for a bigger team now, 190 franchisees. But I would suggest you're still very competitive. It just shows up a little bit different. So that's just me with my yada yada. My opinion.
I would definitely agree. I think it kind of translates through competing for, brand identity and brand presence now. Um, because that's a big part of my role. And not to say that I'm not still competing with myself, but I would definitely agree that it shows up in my work on a larger scale.
For sure. Can we talk a little bit about that and what your marketing role includes? And then I absolutely want to hear about your phenomenal influencer or a program that you have. But tell us what your role entails.
Sure. So I'm the director of marketing. I oversee all things pretty much marketing related about the brand. So from franchisee marketing, where we're trying to attract new buyers to purchase workout anytime locations, to consumer marketing, where we're trying to get new membership growth within the clubs. That entails our reputation management, our website design, national promotions, local gym initiatives, any sort of partnerships we have, whether that be with our American Cancer Society partnership or our athlete influencers. But it's a big umbrella, and I'm very blessed that I have a phenomenal team that I get to work with that helps me with all of that. But in short, my job is just brand reputation and brand identity and making sure that our brand is being perceived in the best way possible to help us drive new gym owners as well as new memberships to the club.
Mm. I'd like to hear more about your community and nonprofit work with making strides against breast cancer.
We are, as a company, partnered with American Cancer Society. It's for the next 2 years. It's something that we wanted to do that's bigger than ourselves. So we're
Mm.
not only impacting and helping our members within our four walls, but we are helping everyone in the world who may be suffering from any kind of cancer. And so that was the whole goal with our relationship with American Cancer Society is we really wanted something bigger than who we are. And we do that through our battle rope challenges within the gyms. We wanted something that is very fitness oriented, that very much coincides with cancer. So people battle cancer, and we have battle ropes within our facility. So we just basically tied the two together, and people take donations in order to enter to do the battle rope challenge, or depending on the amount of time that you battle them, you can donate X amount of dollars. And we also do local initiatives as far as event planning with the Battle Rope Challenge. But there's several ways that our clubs are actively, using American Cancer Society, and we're raising funds for them throughout the entire year. And then I had the privilege of being asked to be on the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer board, which is specific for Atlanta. And so I have my own initiatives and my own fundraising goals that I have to meet, which I'm able to do through my personal and professional connections. And it's just been absolutely phenomenal that I can do that. I have personal connections to family members that have battled cancer and breast cancer. So it means a lot to me to be able to support American Cancer Society and have a seat on that board.
Yeah.
So marketing is very complex, Lynsay, and you got a ton of locations and a ton of franchisees. How do you stay consistent across all of them where the message of Anytime Workout is consistent? And how much flexibility do you allow your franchisees? Do all of them get involved with these philanthropic endeavors? Talk a little bit more how you keep that consistency or flexibility.
Absolutely. So we produce content on a monthly and quarterly basis that we provide our franchise owners, so everything is aligned. And we also had custom battle ropes created and shipped to every single location that have the American Cancer Society and Workout Anytime icons together, that are specific for this campaign with American Cancer Society. So we produce content for them. We try to host local events. My team goes out into the field to also be present at events to show our support. But we, providing them all the necessary tools and supporting them to be successful is what we do every single month and every single quarter. And then those battle ropes definitely
Mhm.
signified, consistency across the board. Everyone has them. So whenever they take pictures or have moments, those battle ropes are just an icon across the network for what we're trying to do with American Cancer Society.
So clever. Yeah.
Yes.
Just to go one layer deeper with the marketing, how do you leverage influencers with your brand?
Sure. So about 18 months or 2 years ago, I had an idea to beta test athlete influencers within our space to see how they would perform on a campaign. So we actually started with, I believe it was 7 or 8 regional athlete influencers. So they were a bit smaller, more regionally well known, like from the University of Georgia. We had Lily Smith from the University of Georgia. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her. She's a fantastic gymnast. And we had several smaller regional athletes, and the data that came from that and the memberships that were produced and our website traffic, it was just phenomenal results. And due to that, I was able to move the campaign even further into a larger athlete influencer. And so I did some research, and at the time, Banana Ball was becoming extremely popular. It had been around for quite some time, but during that year, I believe it was about 18 months ago, it was really starting to explode on social media. And so I had a crazy idea to partner with a Savannah Banana named Kyle Jackson. Most people know him as KJ. And we did a campaign back in August, and it performed phenomenal. We had a huge lift in our back to school campaign. We obviously track everything that happens. We built him his own microsite. So he has his own website page where we can track everything, how many leads are generated, how many new members come from him specifically. And it just did phenomenal. And we kind of sat down and talked with him about the opportunity to be a part of our brand on a larger scale in 2026. And we had another fun idea to really give him a voice and a presence within the brand, because brand identity is so important. It's what differentiates us from other brands. And so we decided to make him our chief aura officer for 2026, which allowed our culture
I love it.
to it allowed our culture to have a voice within a leadership role. So it was very important for us to not only have a one-time campaign with him, but to really have him as part of the presence of the Workout Anytime brand.
Okay, we got to break down this aura thing,
Right.
right? We got to learn more about it. So
Mhm.
KJ is Chief Aura Officer. Tell us what you mean when you say aura in context of Workout Anytime brand.
Sure. So aura is a term that is very heavily used by the Gen Z and lower demographics. They talk about aura in a sense of the energy that you provide when you walk into a space, the feelings that you're giving people around you. And if you've ever had the opportunity to meet Kyle, you know that his aura is absolutely fantastic, and it actually comes through on all of his social media and everything that he does for the Savannah Bananas. And I can personally say that he is exactly like that in person. And so aura is just the energy of a space. And we wanted that energy to resonate with our brand so that when you walked in any Workout Anytime location, that aura would be felt from the top down, basically.
That's amazing. Aura used to be so new agey. Like in my day, if you said aura, it was like, oh, woo woo. And meanwhile, I love how you've redefined the concept of aura and applied it to your marketing and the brand ambassadorship. It's very, very cool.
Yes. It's fun. I mean, a big part of marketing is psychology and understanding who you're talking to. And I'm not talking to our biggest buyer demographic is 18 to 24.
Mm.
And that is younger than me. So I have to, really do research and understand, what do those people want? How do they speak? What really resonates with them? And that's why I believe the relationship we have with Kyle is so authentic and genuine to who we are, and it's someone that they trust. So it just resonates really well.
Wow.
You bring up a really important piece there around authenticity because he's definitely authentic. He's definitely someone that lines up with the aura of your company. One thing you said pre-interview time, you mentioned three things, and I actually took notes that it's about fun, it's about community, and it's about relationship. And then, of course, we have this very clear demographic that we're largely going after. Tell me how that all plays in and how influencers can encourage that fun and community and relationship.
Sure. So it's pretty traditional in life that we basically live in a triangle. So you have your home, your work, and a third pillar. Your third pillar normally consists of fun, community, and Workout Anytime wants to be that. We want to be the third pillar where you're not only going to be working out and being healthy, but you have that community involvement. You attend all our events, you're having fun. So we want it to be that. We really want to aim to be that third pillar for somebody. Athlete influencers or influencers in general, as long as the relationship is authentic, they are a very powerful resource for us to use. They have a lot of influence within the buyer demographic, and a lot of people go to them for advice, whether it's intentional or not intentional. And the community that Kyle has created on all of his platforms, we want that community to come and see us at Workout Anytime and, have that same fun community feel. So it's just about making sure you pick the right ones that represent who you are, your brand values, the goals that you're trying to achieve, and just really resonate authentically with your audience and with yourself as the brand.
for those that don't know Savannah Bananas, it really is exactly as you described. So tell us a little bit about the Savannah Bananas because it really is about family, community. Tell us a little bit more and how specifically it aligned with that third pillar that you were working on.
Yeah, sure. So Savannah Bananas are from Banana Ball, which the owner, Jesse, came up with this idea. I think it was over 10 years ago.
Mhm.
And Jesse is also a brilliant marketer. He has released several books, and he's also very brilliant, of course, as you can see with Banana Ball. So he wanted to create an environment that was more family friendly, that puts fans first, that's very in, fan engagement was very important to him. So it's more of an experience rather than just going to watch a game. So if you've ever been to a game, they incorporate all aspects of the crowd. They try to get out into the crowd. You participate in a lot of fun games, singing. It's very entertaining, and so kids have a lot of fun there, and so do parents. It's just a fun for all ages kind of environment. And that's something that we also wanted to infiltrate into the Workout Anytime brand is no matter how old you are, whether you're 17 all the way up to 65, we're the brand for you. You can have fun here. We can be your community. And so we just wanted any age group can come into Workout Anytime and have fun.
Lynsay, you spoke about the workout anytime values. And when I looked at the website, the very first value is attitude. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so we have our ACE values, which is attitude, care, and excellence. And we believe not only in the hiring process for people who work in our corporate office, but we also encourage our franchisees who are hiring their own staff to put attitude above everything because you can work with someone with a good attitude. It's very hard to work with someone with a bad attitude, regardless of their skill set. So someone with a really good attitude is probably more willing to learn and be open to learning. It also goes back to aura. If they have a really good attitude, their aura is probably fantastic and you want to be around them. And that means your members and the people in the workplaces also want to be around them. So attitude is very important to us.
Um, your marketing brain fascinates me. It absolutely fascinates me. So let's talk about branding in the future. We got a brand that's been around a while. We got 190 franchisees. Consumers have changed. The way they process information has changed. So how do you guard the legacy of Workout Anytime, but also stay fresh as time goes on? What is going to be different in the future about marketing from your perspective?
AI is a big
Mm.
thing that has come into play. And I have mixed feelings about AI. And I think that it's a tool that we can utilize to do better, but I don't think it's a tool we should use for everything all the time. Because I believe it causes distrust amongst your prospects and your member base because you're not generating authentic, real content a lot of the times. So we believe heavily even on the local level, we encourage the staff members and general managers to take pictures of the real people in the
Yeah.
gym. Because it again authentically aligns with people when they go and look, they're like, oh, these are the kinds of people that are really in the gym. And that AI kind of, like I said, causes that distrust. And it's like, what am I really going to walk into? Who am I going to see? Um, so I think there's a balance with AI as it's a really big part, but I think for us to stay true to ourselves is really just staying true to our mission, vision, values, our ACE, concept, always having a good attitude, continuing who we are, the aura that we've produced thus far in the past 6 months, I think has been awesome. And we definitely want to continue that. Although our model is evolving with what our members want to see. So if studies have shown that basically members are coming to the gym more for an experience now rather than just working out. So their time spent in the gym is longer. They're recovering on those phenomenal recovery amenities. that we have in our premium suite. So we just adjusted our model a little bit, but I think always staying true to ourselves, having that attitude that we just talked about, always within our staff and within ourselves and within the gym is how we're going to stay true to ourselves while we evolve with everything that's happening in the space.
Lynsay,
I applaud the authentic community combo,
yeah.
because AI does, in my opinion, invalidate that. So I like your focus to continue to be authentic, keep that aura, build that community. Tracy, I have a tendency to interrupt you, so
No, it's
go
all
ahead.
good. I was just curious because some people are people, and some people are numbers people, and you are a perfect combination of both, as well as all of these other creative skills that you have. My question is, what is your one favorite skill about yourself? And the reason why I'm asking this is because we don't always pat ourselves on the back. And if you were going to pat yourself on the back for one skill that you really believe in about yourself, what would that be?
I would have to say my creative strategic thinking.
Mhm.
I have always kind of had that hidden skill, and I've really been able to showcase that. And a lot of this wouldn't have been possible without my boss, who's believed in me, so much. And, this crazy athlete influencer idea I had, he backed me 100%. And so I really think who's also surrounding you is also important. But I'm very proud of the combination I got between my mom and my dad with creative strategic thinking. Um, because it's something I think I can carry with me anywhere.
I
Yeah,
love that.
I
I
do
love
too. So, Lynsay, our show is about where passion and purpose collide. I can see pieces of it already where your D1 career collided with franchising and marketing and journalism and storytelling and relationship building. But I want to hear in your words how your passion and your purpose collided through your work.
I genuinely, deep down, if we get down to it, I just want to help people and I want people to be happy. Um, and I had the privilege of getting to help a tremendous amount of people. We have over 315,000 members, and that's something that we get to impact every day in our department. What through materials that we produce, ads that we run, events that we host, KJ being our Aura ambassador. This is all things that are how people feel. And when it comes down to it, marketing is psychological and people make purchasing decisions based on how it makes them feel. And I am just very grateful that I get to help our gyms create that aura, to create the feelings of, happiness and excitement surrounding our gyms, because I think, the more that they come to work out, the more we're helping them every single day, no matter what age they are, no matter what kind of workout they're doing. We're helping them physically, mentally, in so many different ways. And that just means the world to me.
Nice.
So
Okay, so how can people get a hold of you? And if they're interested in a workout anytime franchise, how can they get a hold of the company?
Absolutely. So we have a website, workoutanytime.com. If you want to join a gym, there's a locations button that will take you to the closest one near you. So you can fill out a trial pass or automatically join online. And if you want to help Kyle out, you can use promo code BANANA. It's his special little promo code for a special discount. And then me personally, you can feel free to email me. My email is Lynsay.Flynt at workoutanytime.com. My name is spelled very funny, so I don't know if we're able to write that somewhere, but I'm more than happy to guide people in the right direction, offer advice, support, anything I can do to help.
I can feel that. I can feel that that is authentic. That really is who you are. I have one final question before we do a wrap up. You kind of hit on it. Um, but let's say you're 20 years down the road. and you're looking back at your life and you're saying, that's my legacy. That's what I left behind based on my endless creativity, my background in sports, my commitment to leadership and team, always being on a cutting edge. What is the legacy that you want to be able to say you left behind?
I want people to remember me for the way I made them feel. Um,
Mm.
uh, that I made them feel loved and important and valued in whatever moment that we had together, whether it was one or many. I want people to remember me for that.
Do you consciously go in like that? Because I know as I age, every moment is more and more precious, and I'm more conscious of um, did I create a memory here? Did I inspire? Did I love on this person? Do you consciously go in thinking that this may be a one and only meeting? It might be a dozen, but I want to leave them feeling significant and loved.
I do. For the most part, I probably have my moments where my emotions might get the best of me in certain circumstances. But I think it's just so important because people forget what you said and what you did, but they never forget the way you make them feel. And if I can make them feel seen, supported, loved, and maybe they don't remember my name, but they remember that one day they saw this girl and they had a meeting and she made me feel like I could make my dreams come true. That means more to me than anything else I could probably leave behind.
Wow. Wow. Lynsay, you are a delight. You're inspiring for sure. It's so funny. I kept getting these flashes of folks at the gym in banana costumes and doing some of the crazy dances that they do. I don't know why I kept getting that picture, but I want to be there with the gyms and what everything you're up to that's building community. So I applaud you. I truly do, Lynsay. You are going to make a ripple effect. I have no doubt you're going to have a beautiful ripple effect. I also love that the demographic primarily is young, although you're going, because that's going to change your lives forever. This isn't someone that's, oh my gosh, I'm towards the end and I got to get fit, right? No, these are individuals you're building community for and inspiring to be healthy for the rest of their lives. So that's what I mean by ripple effect. I think you're going to have a beautiful ripple effect. So
Thank
thank you.
you.
Thank you for joining us today. And Tracy, you always do such beautiful wrap-ups. What are your final thoughts on?
So I was thinking about how at Saracle Profiles, we are all about values. And my takeaway from this interview with you, Lynsay, is that how we really do, how it's so critical to surround ourselves with people, places, things, work, life that reflect our values. And I think that you've done such an amazing job at that, not only for your brand, but for you personally. And I think that's that authenticity that Rebecca keeps mentioning that comes through because you really do live your values. And it's a beautiful thing to see.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Tracy. That was fabulous. And thank you to our listeners today. I'll make sure to share Lynsay Flynt's interview, make comments, click like, and of course, subscribe. We want you to subscribe to the podcast. And we'll see you on another episode of the Franchise Woman Podcast, where passion and purpose collide, profits are made, and relationships forged.